Okay, so far money has been fairly straightforward, but now we're going to look at different issues relating to money. And here we're looking at bills. So you've probably seen something. This is Adsco's, which is supposed to be a cross between Asda and Tesco. And this is a shop in Motherwell. The manager is Davy Brown. If you look on a receipt, you'll see that it has that kind of information on the receipt. So let's read through what it says. All of us have to pay bills at times, in a shop, at the supermarket, in a restaurant. Most shops and restaurants ring up the bill on their screens and print it out for you. When setting down a bill, try to line up the decimal points. So that's something that we've talked about, the importance of decimal points being matching. So when there's a mixture like £3.78 plus 47p, then what we do is we change the 47p so that it's £0.47. That is really important because otherwise you're going to mix up your columns. So this is the best way to keep your columns clear. So here we've got 6 tins of custard, and it's done the sum for you. 6 times 63 is 378, and 1 tin of peaches at 47p, and that is how the sum would look, with pound sign, pound sign, pound sign, units, 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 and then the pence, the 742,875, all in the correct columns. And then if you look at the bill, the fake till receipt, it's got a total, then it's how much is paid, £10 in cash, and then the change. Okay, so obviously in a shop, especially, you know what it's like in a shop, you might buy 30 or 40 items, so you need really the cash machine, the cash register, to do that sum for you. Nobody wants to add 30 items up by hand, or even, especially not in their head. It's not impossible, but it's a lot of work. Okay, so here we've got, these are the items that are for sale in the supermarket. So you've got shampoo, a comb, a bar of soap, a toothbrush, toothpaste, a toilet roll, talcum powder, kitchen roll, a duster, and polish. So you're going to be doing sums, adding sums. It's as straightforward as that, one on top of the other. A is starting with the shampoo and a comb. So the shampoo is £1.95 and a comb is £79. Remembering that you put a pound sign, a 0, a point, and a 79, and you don't need the P. If you've got a pound sign, you don't need the P. Okay, so others that don't have any pounds, the toilet roll, the duster, so you put your 0 in, 0 point, whatever. Now, F, 10 combs. You should be able to do 10 times 79 in your head. And for your 2 tubes of toothpaste, it's up to you if you want to do a separate sum, 2 times 320, or add in 320, 320. I don't mind, it's the same. You've got 4 toothbrushes. I'd probably recommend you doing a separate multiplication sum, but it's really up to you. H is where it could all go wrong because it's one of every item. Okay, so in your jotter, just leave lots of room. Okay, that would be my advice to you. Don't try and squash everything in. Leave plenty of space because these are going to be big sums. There are plenty more jotters. You don't have to worry about squeezing it in. I don't think I've ever told you to squeeze things in. If you only fit 3 or 4 sums on a page, that is fine. I would rather you did that than you tried to squeeze everything in and it was all difficult to read. Okay, so space it right out. Now, Here we've got a second page of more problems. Geraldine bought 3 items from Dregs, the baker's shop. I wonder what that's supposed to be. Could it be Greg's? So again, you're copying the bill and completing it. It's already written for you. You just need to put in the total. The next part is she paid with a £10 note. How much change did she receive? So you're doing 10.00. Take away whatever the total is for the cake, eclairs, and apple pie. I bet the apple pie was really good. So 3A, it's the same thing, but you're doing change from £20. B is the same, change from £20. C. Now, I'm just going to look at, well, let's look at 3A together. So it's saying 2 litres of milk at 85p a litre. Right, so 1 litre is 85p. You need to say how much 2 litres are. Now that is the same with all of them. They've got 3 kilograms of, in B, 3 kilograms of onions at 95p per kilogram. Okay, so you're looking at multiplication sums before you do your adding, and then finally you're going to take away where you're doing £20, take away the answer. C is really tricky. 500 grams, but it's 64p per 100 grams. So that is actually, you're going to have to do 5 times 64. And then you've got 8 plasterboard nails at 56p per 100 grams. So that is another multiplication. And then you've got 100 brass screws. That is 100 times. Okay. Any questions, you can get back to me. And VAT. VAT is a tax that is on most things that you buy. I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Value added tax. It's a kind of tax that is, there are certain things that are not taxed. Food is not taxed. It's considered an essential. Books are not taxed. And children's clothes and shoes are not taxed. So when your mums and dads take you out to buy shoes and clothes, they desperately want you to have small feet and generally be small. So because if you're buying big shoes, then they're paying adult prices for them. Because you know, size 4 and 5 and even 6, some children have feet that size, but so do some adults. So sometimes you get a kind of middle ground section in shoe shops, and definitely your parents want you to get clothes from the children's section in the clothes shops because they're cheaper, because they don't have extra tax. So tax is extra money that is added on that doesn't go to the shopkeeper, it goes to the government. Okay, so often on receipts it will tell you how much of the money is tax. Obviously in the supermarket not so much, because mostly you buy food in the supermarket and food isn't taxed, although some items are. For example, alcohol is taxed a lot. Cigarettes are taxed a lot. But most things in the supermarket are not taxed. So I don't actually know if it will show you on the receipt the tax. You can have a look. But if you were to go to a clothes shop, it probably would tell you how much is taxed. And so here, PC, laptop, and repairs. So parts, £29.75. So that means, for example, if your laptop needs a new screen, that is the cost of the screen. Then we have labour, £58.60. Labour is the cost of paying a person to do the work. Okay, so in this case, the labour is more than the parts, which is actually often the case. So subtotal means that you would add those together. You would add up the cost of the parts and the cost of the labour. And then there's a tax on the total. And the tax here is written in for you, 1760. You would add that on. Okay, then lawnmower repairs, exactly the same. New blades, that is the parts. Oil, that's also parts. Now, labour, you need to work out, because 2 hours labour at 18.90 per hour. So it's up to you if you want to do multiplying or if you want to add on. If you want to just do one sum, that is 18.90 for each hour. I don't mind. And then you get your subtotal. Then you're going to add your tax, which is 12.69, and then you get a final total bill. It's worth checking if your parents, for example, have taken the car to the garage, looking at the receipt for that, how it's laid out, because that will have all the parts. So if the car needs new bulbs, or it needs oil, or it needs new tires, these will all be listed. And then it will show you the cost of the labour. So, for example, if you need new bulbs, the bulbs will be cheap, the labour will be more expensive. And then it will definitely have tax on, so it will show you the tax and the total bill. So it is definitely worth looking at receipts just to check that that information is on, and it is on most receipts. It used to be that if you'd got work done by a small business, the receipt would be handwritten, and if it was handwritten, it wouldn't have as much information in it. But now, because computers are so cheap and printers are so cheap, everybody has them, so there's more information printed, and businesses do that because they have to go then and pay tax. They have to, so they when they sell you a product, they would add tax on, VAT, and they would be the ones that would have to give it to the government. You give it to the shopkeeper or to the garage owner or whatever, and then they give it to the government. But then they also have to pay other taxes. So the more that they have on the receipt, the easier it is for them to work out what money they get to keep and what money goes to the government for tax. So that's why there's lots of information, and it keeps everybody right, and it means that people aren't in trouble for not paying taxes, which does happen, by the way. Okay, number 5 is in pink, which means only do this if you want a challenge. So I'll read it through. I bought 8 pieces of fruit, a mixture of kiwi fruit and grapefruit, and there's a picture. I love kiwi fruit. I'm not so keen on grapefruit, although I think as you get older, grapefruit is something that you're more likely to like. So kiwis cost 25p each and grapefruits cost 40p each. The bill is £3.20. So what have you bought of each? And there's actually a hint for you. Make a guess first. So for example, guess 10 of each, add them together. Does that match up to £2.30? I'm going to tell you straight away, no it doesn't. So they're not getting as many as 10 each. We'll try 5 each. Does that add up? So it says first make a guess and check how far out your answer is, and then re-guess. So it's a wee bit of problem solving. Again, it's totally optional. As long as you get up to number 4 done, I'll be quite happy. Okay, thank you.